A long time ago, in a place far away, it was said there lived dragons on the earth. They were fierce and very devastating to those who ran across them. Yet some believe they were just a legend. So what are we doing in this small, sleepy hamlet of Marysville, California? Lately, disturbing reports have come up on a possible sighting of something that, as close as can be told, is a member of the dragon family. We've come here in Marysville to visit the Institute of Higher Learning as regarding the Serpentine family at the W.J. Fauble Institute of Higher Learning for those of the Serpentine family and other dragons. There has been research going on here lately regarding the fire drake. So we're going to go in here and we're going to speak to Dr. Barry Berry, who has the highest qualifications for these type of animal studies. So let's just go and see what Dr. Barry Berry has to say to us. Good afternoon, Dr. Barry Berry.
Good afternoon.
We're so glad to meet you here. We're very excited about the subject that's come up lately about this so-called dragon sighting. We know that that's been a special study of yours for several years.
Oh yes, I have made it my field to study dragons, and all my life I've studied and always thought they were extinct. But lately I've been hearing reports come out of a small town called Marysville that says that they have indeed had reports of a small dragon, or shall I say fire drake, in the area. And I've come down here in hopes that maybe I could see this beast that I have long studied and long admired, wanting to be a part of.
So I noticed that you've set up a research laboratory here at the W.J. Fauble Institute of Serpentine Studies.
Yes, I have. We've got the state-of-the-art equipment of tracking things flying and underground, although my main focus is the fire drake.
Is that, yes. Have you got a large staff working with you?
Few believers are, but I believe that soon, when people see that this is indeed real, we will have more people flocking to help in our studies. Currently, we only have about a dozen people working. Not that many compared to other fields of medical studies and geological, archaeological sites.
Thank you, Doctor.
Hope to see you again soon.
So where is Marysville, California? To see, we have to go to a map of California and zoom in on the Feather River. On either side of the Feather River, we have two towns, one Yuba City and then Little Marysville. From Marysville, we zoom in on a little street called McKlinckenhan Lane. That's where we're going today. To learn more about the history of dragons, including fire drakes, we go to visit Professor McKlinckenhan, who's going to talk a little bit about the history of dragons.
Aye, and this here one comes from China, where it was believed that they did draw the dragons to full size, and here we have a nice red one, and he did apparently terrorize the poor little communities of China. And, well, I've always liked this dragon the best, just because of its fierceness and redness. Over the years, many dragons have fought with heroes and such, and they've always had known to have magic powers in their blood, and ears that could hear all over the world. And here there are many tales of such as Siegfried, the dragon slayer, who slew the dragon with one arm tied behind his back. And the dragons were very fierce then, and they had lots of scales, and they're very armored and such, and it was very hard to slay a dragon. So just the heroes, I just love the heroes. as in Ireland, in old England, there are also many dragons, and the big knights would come in and slay the dragons. And here is such, it's a fire drake, a real one. And in old England, the knights would, the thing that they would do is they would go out and they'd slay the dragons, and they'd get rewarded by the king. And the fire drakes was considered the most fierce of all dragons because they would fly, and they were very hard to kill, and you were very lucky indeed if you could kill one. In the dragon world, there are very few left, and one would hope that because they are endangered species, that people finding the dragon would just leave it in its natural habitat and not try and take it away or kill it or something of that sort. In fact, if one person wanted to find out more about dragons, the McKlinckenhan Institute for the Protection of Dragons and Other Magical Beasts has various resources to help a person want to save more dragons. And I just don't know why anybody would want to go out there and find a dragon and then kill it, because there are so few left that we must nurture what we have and keep it and not destroy a natural beast.
Professor McKlinckenhan, would you consider yourself one of the possible dragon's greatest friends and advocates?
I would certainly consider myself a very high friend in these of dragons. Yes.
Well, Dr. Berry, here we are on Meconium Lane in Marysville, California, and as I believe you're going to show us some places that would be likely hiding places, or places that a dragon might be observed, and then we're going to go and see the actual sighting location where a dragon was, a fire drake, was actually reported as being. So, Doctor, could you show us some places that we might think we could find one?
Well, over here is an ideal site for a smaller type of dragon. Usually the marshy places with low overhang, hard to get to with humans. As you can see, the grass is still very long in this residence yard. So this would be left alone. This is an ideal place for perhaps a dragon to hide eggs so that another dragon could find it, and also to hide out from humans when they were in the area. And there's also greenery to eat, and small animals like mice and various other small insects and things would hide inside the grass.
So do you think possibly the sighting of this dragon might have been a small fire drake?
Small or big, it would depend on the size of the scorch marks, which maybe we might be able to see later. But there's lots of little small animals hiding here, and how big the dragon is barely depends on just how much food it's getting at the time and where it's been raised at and what's around. We come here to a small abandoned house, and these are very dangerous for people, specifically because dragons do like houses falling in disrepair. They'll find a small nook or a cranny, as you have a place back here that's not easily accessible to the outside person, and the dragon might hide in here. And because it's wood, it even makes it more dangerous, because one little spark out of that fire drake's mouth and the whole thing could go up in flames and the neighborhood could be consumed. So this is indeed a very dangerous place for a dragon to be, or a person to have near their house. There are many places that dragons can hide in this area. It's easy to see why dragons would come here, if any place at all. Notice trees and I think
What is it, Doctor? What is it?
Oh, common error. As you can see, it's just one of the local varieties of Pokemon. Nothing to really be excited about. I had thought I had seen another fire drake. I'm sorry that you came over here for this.
What is it?
It's called a Pikachu. Very common. Not many of them are out of this area, but come here, they're everywhere. Grass everywhere.
Here we are today at the house of Edna Malarkey. Edna Malarkey is the one who actually saw the fire drake. And so we're going to talk to her and see what she has to say.
Hello?
Hello, are you Edna Malarkey?
Yes, I am.
Okay, Ms. Malarkey, would you like to show us what you saw the other night?
You can call me Eddie.
Okay, Eddie. Let's go out and have a look at what you saw.
I was standing right here on the porch when this big fire dragon swooped out of the sky and landed right over there.
Right here.
Yes. It had to have been about 15 feet long from about head to tail with long, big wings.
Is this the backyard of where you live?
Yes, this
Here
is
in
the
Marysville?
side field.
Mm-hmm.
It's set down right over here.
Oh my
And
goodness.
It burned a spot.
Oh my
grass.
goodness.
I think that it was making kind of a nest because you see all the stuff that, all the brush that it gathered together. I think it was making sort of a nest to come back. So I'm just leaving this spot in the field alone, hoping that it might come back and lay some eggs. Well, it was so big. I would have screamed, but I was afraid that it might see me, even though it didn't touch any of the livestock. It looked pretty hungry. I wanted to give it my chances up against it. It was the weirdest color of purple that you ever saw. Kind of this deep emperor's purple that you would see.
Emperor's purple. Maybe a not king's purple, but emperor's purple.
Emperor's purple, definitely.
Well, Dr. Berry, would you come over here and let's see what your interpretation of these events are.
Well, excuse me, Eddie. I would have to say, judging by the ash content of this site, that it can't be anything but where a fire drake could have landed and scorched it. And you could just tell by the way there's still select areas of greenery that this was in the bed of ashes, nice and thick and soft. It's just made for eggs. Definitely. When do you think it's going to come back, Professor? I would watch and wait and be hopeful and have a camera on hand. Even though we didn't find the fire drake here today, I hope, and the hopes of others around, that we will soon see more, and so I'm going to head off to Ireland and other parts of the world and the country to look for more instances of fire drakes. And Eddie, I hope that later on you'll check back with us about if you see anything else.
What is it? 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 What? Maybe I better get out of here. And this was all that is left of Dr. Berry and Edna Malarkey. So we can only assume that a fire drake was in Meconium Lane, Marysville, California. And, well, we hope we have better luck next time.